This is what it looks like after 35 rows. It is just a big rectangle with a hole in it to where my head can go through. And that's what it looks like so far. Next, you want to grab at least 2, if not 4 stitch markers so you can mark from the end of the sleeve inward 18 stitches so we can sew up the sides or the bottom part here to make the sleeves on both sides. I chose to do 18 stitches, so we're gonna single crochet those up on the sides, but I chose to do 18 stitches inward because I wanted it to have a little bit of a looser fit. That way someone who was bigger than me could make this if they really wanted to, but also I really wanted a loose top as well. This part is adjustable though to your body size. Side note, you can go in further to make a little bit of a more snugger piece, or you can bring it out if you need it looser or if you want it looser. Let's just try this piece on at this point and you can adjust it to your body size. If you do that, keep in mind that continuing on, the stitch count from around is going to be for my measurement from the 18 stitches in on each side, but the same pattern applies. After you sew up the sides, you'll attach the yarn and you'll continue doing the chain 3 and then the double crochet chain 1 all the way around until you get it as long as you want. I hope that made sense. That sounded like a little bit of garbly-gook. To sum it up, this is what it looks like on me so far. Next, we're gonna sew up the sides on each side to make the sleeves, and then I'll show you what to do from there. I will join me next where we are going to be at the view to where I'm showing you how to sew up the sleeves. On to part 3 of this sweater pattern. I forgot to mention that you'll want to make sure you'll fold the top piece in half. Can't do it really in frame, but you want to fold it in half with the 18th row at the top and make sure that each side matches in length. And it does for me. So I will go on and show you how to sew up the sleeves now. What you'll want to do on each side of the piece, for me it was easier to do one at a time. You'll just want to count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and continue on and place your marker in the chain 1 after the 18th double crochet, and then do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and continue on and place your marker. What I did at first is I placed the marker on the one side of the piece, and then when I counted the 18 stitches in on the other side, I adjusted it, held it, and just attached the stitch marker right there in that chain 1 spot after the 18th double crochet. But you will also want to do this on the other side for the other sleeve. But I also found it easier to place a marker at the beginning so it holds up easier and it lines up easier for me when I go and crochet into this. But I counted in on each side 18 stitches, 18 double crochets, and then placed a marker in that chain 1 spot on both sides. For me, it was easier to have row 35 facing on the outside part and the first row 1 being on the inside part or facing towards me when I continued on sewing up the sleeves. Next, you'll want to chain 1, go into the bottom of this double crochet right here, then through the top of the first double crochet, and then you'll want to make a single crochet going through both pieces. Next, into that chain 1 spot through both pieces, make a single crochet. And again, through the bottom of that double crochet and then the top of this double crochet, if you can see that, like so, you'll want to make a single crochet. Then in that chain 1, then the next double crochet, you want a single crochet, and you want to do that all the way across from this end to the marker that you had made. Single crochet, and then into that double crochet, and in this chain 1 spot all the way across. And I will meet you at the end when I'm done with single crocheting to that stitch. Now you want to attach the yarn to the hook with a slip knot, have the piece flipped, and then at the bottom of the chain 3 on both sides, make sure you put the hook through. Ooh, did it first try. And then push it through that hole, the bottom of that double crochet on the back side. Grab the yarn that is leading towards your skein of yarn or cake of yarn. And then you'll want to make a single crochet, and that's how I attach the yarn if it's a single crochet to my piece. Then next you'll just want to you'll want to single crochet into the next chain 1 spot, going through both pieces every time. Go through the bottom of the double crochet and make that single crochet into the next chain 1 spot through both pieces. Make a single crochet, the bottom or top. So this is technically the top of this double crochet and the bottom of this double crochet, but make sure it's just through both pieces of the double crochet spot. And then this part, it's the easier part because you're just going through the hole, like so, for the single crochet. Now you'll want to do this from the end to the marker, 18 stitches in, or the marker that you'd placed. Then I'll meet you back here to show you what to do next. I have single crocheted over to 18 double crochets. Next, you'll just want to snip the yarn to a length, yarn over and pull through, and then either you can weave in your ends now or you can wait until the end of the project. So after this, you can go ahead and remove the stitch markers on each side. I just kind of yeeted it over there. I can't believe I just used that word. Okay, yep, I'm sticking with it. Take off your stitch markers, put them aside. These ones are just yarn, cheap acrylic yarn. So I'm struggling really hard here because it's black and it's hard to see. Just, yep. Put your stitch markers aside. I'm just yeeting mine. Go ahead and fold or turn the piece right side out. And then you're going to have to join me with a part 4. I'm sorry, I was not anticipating this. So we can work on the body piece of the sweater. Thank you so much. I will see you in part 4. I wanted to show you what it looked like on the body before attaching and continuing on with the body piece. And actually, if you really wanted to, you could stop here and it would make a really cute shrug, as is. Or you can make the rectangle piece bigger and have it go down a little bit more. The choice is yours. It's adjustable. But this yarn is a little different than the other yarn that I use, so keep that in mind, because when I sewed up the sleeves on this yarn, it didn't pull up the sleeves a little bit like the other yarn did. because when I had measured for this one, I wanted it out to my wrists, but the way that the yarn drapes and all of that, it drapes a little bit different. Here, let me show you real quick. Quick change. See, so when it's a little harder to tell with the sleeves, but when I had put this on, it doesn't go as far out as my wrists does on each side, which is why I sewed up the sleeve the way I did. It doesn't stay as stretched out like this yarn does. So keep that in mind when you are making your piece with the kind of yarn you have chosen, the way it drapes, and whether or not you want to sew the sleeves in and all of that. Just kind of keep that in mind, please. So, yep. Now on to part 4. But this is coming out super cute, and I'm really loving the unicorn colors of this.